Hello and welcome back. This is the 5th episode of my video diary about making an album. And previously I've gone over, if not all, then most of what I think is necessary to go through before starting the recording process. If you haven't watched those previous episodes yet, then may I suggest that you go back and watch them first, because they basically contain information about all this process. And without that information, the decisions and approaches I'm going to take might seem a little bit confusing. But if you have watched those videos already, then you know what's the time is now. Time is to do some drum recording. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, here we are now. Or here I am now. Let's go through this. It all starts with these drumsticks, which are not even sticks, they are brushes, and they came with this drum set and they work perfectly for this. The way I like to use these is that I set up them differently, because there are these rubber bands which you can use to tighten it up or loosen it up. So I like to use my right hand with this loose version and left hand with this tight version, because I play the hi-hat with this hand, and as you can hear, it has this scratcher sound compared to this. So I can maybe pull off a more hi-hatty style of a sound with this kind of setup. And I can switch the place where I'm hitting on the snare drum, so it's got this rather dynamic feel to it. And with this left hand, I can get the snare drum sound easier because it's hard hitter. I can get the snare drum also with this, but it's not so easy. I have to hit it pretty hard. So that's my main setup. And then I'll have this thrasher, which I've tried to make less thrashier by putting on some clothes between these blades and putting on some rubber bands to make it less powerful. And I mainly played with this softer brush, and I rarely use this, just like once in a song, if not even that. And speaking of cloths, I've also put this cloth on top of the snare drum, because I find out that it kind of tames the higher end of the spectrum of the sound from the snare. I like it this way. I leave the hi-hat area open so I can get this scratchy sound out of it, because this sounds much better than, yeah, you get the point. And then there's the kick drum, just basic cajon box, or what is this, I don't know. And I've got my kick drum pedal sound, well, nothing to say here. I filled the inside of the kick, this bass drum, kick drum. I don't know what this is, but I filled it up with pillows. Well, not filled up, but I've put 2 pillows inside to make it less boomy and less hollow sounding, so I can get more tightness out of it. I even got a kick drum microphone inside here, which is Shure SM91A, but I don't use it. I haven't found a sound out of it that I would really like to use. So I'm using only one room microphone. And then there's the cymbal, which is nothing special. It's this smallish, very humble cymbal, and I mainly played with this open brush. Sometimes I might play it with this tighter one, but this gives much more like a whooshier kind of sound if you compare it to this. It might suit some occasions, but usually I use this one. So yeah, that's that. Next stop is the microphone. So this is the microphone I'm using to capture the whole drum set, and this is AKG C414 XLS. It's a multi-pattern microphone, meaning that you can choose from multiple different polar patterns. And I like to use the figure of 8 for 2 reasons. First of all, because I like the way the drum set sounds when captured from the side. I like to, of course, use it here. I like to record it from here, but the wall is pretty close and you can get lots of nasty bounciness from the wall. So the figure of 8, it picks up this figure of 8 pattern, and it rejects things coming from the side, so you don't get so much of that bouncy awfulness. That's the reason number 1. And the reason number 2 is when I'm using figure of 8 and I'm aiming it somewhere around the middle of this kick drum and snare drum, I'm getting a rather balanced sound, and in fact, because the rejection of the pattern is also frequency dependent, I think I'm getting a bit less of the most boomiest low end from the kick drum when I'm not pointing this directly to the kick drum, because I'm pointing it right up around there, and I'm getting more of the punchiness of this kick drum, and that's the way I like it. I can get rather aggressive and punchy sound out of it with that approach. Okay, and of course, because I'm using figure of 8, the microphone also picks up the same from the other side. In fact, that microphone is in reversed position. The front of the microphone is this side, but it picks up basically the same from both ways. And because it picks the same from behind also, I can get some depth from this room also. So that's the only microphone I'm using for the drums. Capiche? Okay, here I have my recording chain for the drums, and I think for the most of my instruments as well. This is the Sound Sculpture MP573, which is a Neve kinda like this Neve 1073 style of a preamp without the EQ section. It's very good, and I'm using that to drive the microphone. And from there I'm going into this Sound Sculpture CP5176, which is this 1176 style of a compressor or limiter. And I like to hit it pretty hard because I like the way this unit sounds, and when I'm compressing, or if I'm when I'm limiting, in fact, the transients, it helps me to get a better better balance out of my performance. So I'm using pretty fast attack and pretty fast release and a ratio of 12, which is basically limiting. And like I said, I'm hitting it pretty hard, but I'm not hearing any pumping artifacts or anything like that. I think I'm hearing a bit of distortion that comes from clipping the transients the way I'm doing here, but I like it. I like the way it sounds. So from that compressor or limiter, we are going straight into this. Yeah, into this, which is my tape recorder, my Tascam 424 Mark II tape recorder. And I'm recording drums on the channel 1, and I have my demo track already recorded on track number 4. It's on this tape. And basically the way I go with this is that first of all I'm sending the song from the computer and through this track number 4 and into my headphones. So I'm basically using this only as a monitoring thingy, so I can rehearse the song. I let it play from the computer, I put it in a loop so I can play it as many times over as I want. But basically I'm gonna do it like twice or maybe even 3 times in a row before I feel confident that okay, I know what I'm doing. And when that feeling hits me, I'll just flip this from monitoring the input that's coming from the computer into the tape, and now when I press the record, it starts to record to the track number 1, and it plays the track number 4 from the tape. So the same demo track that I was playing previously from the computer is now playing from the cassette. And let's hope I can perform it so that I can get it right with my first try. And one thing I like to mention is I like to drive this high EQ all the way to the top. So I like to boost the hell out of this, because this is going to be the recorded signal, and I like to put as much high end as possible, so when I'm playing it back I can get the high end out And when I'm EQing it out, I can also EQ out the hiss of the tape from that track. So that helps to tame the hiss a bit. Yeah, that's basically it. So there's nothing left to discuss. It's time to do the actual recording. I'm nervous. Okay, listening back to it now. So this is how the high end was captured, and now I can pull it out, make it much more mellower. Here's my demo track, just with acoustic guitar, vocal sound, the click track. Not the tightest of performances. But I really like the way the drums sound. I know I'm limiting the drums quite a bit, but still there's punch and yeah, good stuff in it. The timing is fluctuating a little bit, a little more than I would like at certain points, but that's acceptable. I've noticed that these tracks bleed into each other a little bit. Like this click track. You can hear this click track even when you're turning this off. It's still there somewhere. It's buried a bit, but it's still there. And I know that it's not captured on this track, because if I'm recording like silence over this track, then the click disappears. So it's not on this track. It's just here, but it bleeds when I'm playing it back. Sounds pretty decent. Now I only need to record the rest of the tracks, the drums for the rest of the album. Okay, so I think that's enough. You can hear I've tried to like reduce the amount of noise the kick drum pedal makes, but you can still hear some noises when I'm using the kick drum. But I just have to live with it. That's the way it is. Okay. Great. I'm happy. Okay, coolissimo. I've been listening to that drum track for quite a while now, and I think it turned out great. It's not perfect, and it wasn't supposed to be. Yeah. what did you like about this approach? Was it simple enough, or could it have been simpler? Even more simple? Leave a comment, subscribe, click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers!